Well, let's see what we've got here. A teenager, bored of his routine, makes a deal with a vampirist to enjoy the nightlife and blah blah blah. That's all fine and good, but you have to listen to the opening and ending of this anime. They are bangers, and if anyone disagrees, I'll kick them off the planet myself. Okay, let's get serious now, and let's talk about Yofukashi No Uta. Today's protagonist is a teenager called Ko Yamori, but we'll call him Yamori since it's more comfortable. A boy that you could say is kinda antisocial, who one day, tired of his life as an average student, decides to go for a walk in the early hours of the morning, because everyone's asleep at that time and he can be alone and calm out there. Yamori is chilling so much that he goes to vending machine and buys some alcohol to try it for the first time. And I didn't tell you before, but he's only 14 years old, when suddenly a girl wearing a coat called Nazuna appears next to him and begins staring at him and realizes he's too young to drink alcohol. Because he gets paranoid and thinks that she will take him to the police, he tries to run away, but the girl stops him and says, "You won't take me for a fool. I'll teach you how to enjoy the night." Now, some of you might think she's gonna take him to a party, you know, raves, drugs, and alcohol. But no, I wish. She takes him to kick a couple of drunk guys and then invites him over to her house to sleep. Who could know someone like that? If a person approaches to talk to me at 3 a.m. and invites me home, I'm considering myself murdered already. Yamori lies down to sleep, but he obviously can't, so he pretends to be asleep. And the moment Nazuna saw the opportunity, she drew a penis on his forehead. I'm just kidding. She bites him and sucks his blood. Yeah, his blood. Turns out this girl is a vampire and invited him over to suck him dry. Insert a double entendre. Obviously, Yamori realizes that she just bit his neck and starts wondering what the fuck she's doing. With all the diseases we have nowadays, we have to be careful with COVID. She tells him it was just a giant mosquito, but because he doesn't believe her, she ends up confessing that she's a vampire. Yamori gets really worried and asks her if he's gonna turn into a vampire now, but she tells him, no, you can only turn if you're in love with me while I suck your your blood. So, because this youngster was already bored with life and liked the idea of becoming a vampire, she asks Nazuma to allow him to fall in love with her, so she can turn him into one, and she accepts. They take a couple of walks here, they fly a bit over there, or rather, she flies while carrying him. Bloodsuckings come and go, and since he spends his night with a vampire, he stops going to class and everything else. One of those nights, Yamori runs into Akira, a girl that was friends with the protagonist when they were little, but as time went on, they lost contact, and now that they meet again, they agree to catch up and be friends again. And so, Yamori meets with Akira every night at the same hour. When Nazuna finds out, she makes a little scene, but then she tells Akira she only wants to spend time with him to drink his blood. Luckily, it's a very normal reason. Now that Akira knows that Yamori is up to at night and why he's skipping class, she tells him that he should go back to school so that they can spend more time together, instead of going out for walks at night. And because Yamori doesn't have an opinion about it, Nazuna gets a bit offended and leaves. To make sure she doesn't feel bad, Yamori tells her that he wouldn't know how to explain to Akira the while falling in love with her so I can become a vampire thing, because he doesn't know how to socialize and make friends. She understands and tells him, well, I'm your friend, and wipes the blood he had in his mouth with a kiss. So far, this is still a better love story than Twilight. After spending a whole night playing Xbox with Akira, she arrived late to school because she overslept. They take a bath, and Yamori unknowingly invites Nazuna to one of those Japanese establishments where people go to make snoo-snoo. But they only talk for a little. Thank God we're not going to be demonetized today. Yamori gets a bit stressed and Nazuna offers to give him a massage so he can relax, since, well, let's just say her job is to give massages. But after massaging Yamori, a customer of Nazuna arrives, and because she didn't feel like serving her, she told him to do it, and in exchange, she will pay him and also give him a little kiss. While Yamori gives the massage, she asks him why he's working at such a young age, and he responds that he likes the nightlife because everything is much quieter. She empathizes with him and says, at your age, I already had 5 houses. Kids these days don't even know how to pick up a shovel. Oh my bad, that's just what my grandpa used to tell me. She says she understands him because the same thing happened to her, but now she's stressed all day due to her adult life and her job. Since Yamori empathizes with her, he tells her about Nazune and promises that when he becomes a vampire, he will also turn her into one, so she can enjoy her life just like him. And yeah, that sounds nice, but doesn't anyone else think it's weird that an adult woman is accepting a massage from a 14-year-old boy who is terrible at giving massages? I think most people would think it's a bit suspicious, but whatever. Moving on, after our protagonist goes to a party and realizes how pretty she is and gets a little bit jealous, he meets Sei, who seems to be just another girl that's enjoying the night. And after chatting for a while, she takes Yamori to a more secluded place and hugs him. Poor girl, maybe she feels lonely. And then she tries to drink his blood. I mean, what the hell? That's right, this girl is also a vampire. But lucky for him, Nazuna appears out of nowhere, and with a single strike, she cuts off her arm. Well, at least she's beaten now. And she simply grabs it and puts it in its place like if it was a piece of Lego. Shit. Nazuna gets pretty mad because she wants to kill her and starts fighting Seri, showing that she is extremely strong. But another vampire arrives and kidnaps Yamori, where he meets a group of vampires that actually only seek to make him fall in love. Why? Because Nazuna is taking too long in either doing that or killing him, and humans shouldn't really know about the existence of vampires. And if that happens to be the case, the human must die. And to make things worse, they tell us that if he doesn't fall in love in less than a year, he won't be able to turn into a vampire. So basically, he either falls in love with Nazuna in less than a year, or they'll kill him. After learning this, Yamori feels a bit confused and somewhat doubtful, since in the end, it wasn't as easy as it seemed. And so, taking advantage of the fact he came across Seri another night, he asks her for tips on how to fall quickly in love with Nazuna. And Seri agrees to help him and write some plans for a date. And yeah, the date went horribly. He took her to watch a romantic movie despite knowing that Nazuna doesn't like romance because she gets really nervous when talking about love. And later, she found out she was following a plan made by Seri, and since she thought it was boring, she left. However, she gets hungry sometime later, comes back for Yamori, and takes him for a flight over the brilliant city, and with an amazing OST in the background. Seriously, this anime has an incredible audiovisual quality. It's good, both aesthetically and musically. But let's not get off topic. At school, Akira comes across a boy called Mahiru, who also knows her and Yamori since they were kids. And he says he's also going out at night with a girl. And that's why Yamori runs into him at night, and they start chatting. He's surprised that he still recognizes him, and asks how he did it, despite not having seen each other in years. And Mahiru tells him, "Of course I recognize you, we're friends." This makes Yamori very happy, because Mahiru's everyone's idol. He seems to be the perfect guy, and he never knew that they were friends, because, well, he doesn't understand in which moment he can consider someone a friend. Then, Nazuna sees Mahiru holding hands with the other girl, and so she takes Yamori's hand and they walk together. Oh, how romantic. The other day, Yamori talks with Seri and finds out she's a bit bored of humans and how they get obsessed with her. And right in that moment, a weird guy called Akihito arrives looking for her, and she says, "Okay, I'm tired of you, I'll have to kill you." But Yamori saves him, and they start running. And when they're safe, Akihito tells him that he befriended Seri when they met, but over time he fell in love, and that ruined their friendship. Suddenly, Seri appears, but she's intercepted by Nazuna, who's there to help Yamori. Seri tells the other guy that she's a vampire, and that she couldn't tell him. So Akihito says, "Well, I don't care. Bite me so I can also turn into a vampire and stay with you." Then Seri bites him and everyone's happy. Well, that was really easy. Then a lot of things happen. Nazuna gets a job at a maid cafe thanks to one of the vampires and starts buying things for her house. About time, this place was emptier than the Poseidon from the previous summary. In order to do better in her job, and as a masseuse, she sends Yamori to advertise for him. And he meets a lady that looks right out of a police drama, and she invites him for a drink. Yep, this sort of thing also happened to me when I was 14, for real. After telling her about the massages, she says that she could use one, since being a detective is stressful, and she shows him she's looking for a missing boy. And surprise, the boy she's looking for is Akihito. She realizes that he knows him, and starts to feel suspicious about him. The next night, Yamori, Akira, and Mahito sneak into school, because fuck the system, I guess, and they have a lot of fun walking around until they run into a teacher who had supposedly disappeared years ago, and now he's like a zombie walking through the classrooms. Apparently, this guy is a vampire and wants to drink Akira's juices, her blood of course, but Yamori saves her, and the detective appears once again. Notice how every time this woman is on screen, everything loses color and turns gray. Pure Kino. This lady seems to know about the existence of vampires and provokes the professor so that he bites her, but he doesn't like her blood because he never drank blood before. Or at least that's what I think happened. I'm not quite sure. And he tells us that a woman tricked him and turned him into a vampire, but because he didn't want to hurt anyone, he isolated himself from people. The detective gives him a ring and he holds it until sunrise. And finally, the professor turns into ashes. Seeing this, Yamori complains to Anko. Yes, the detective is called Anko. Why did she kill him? And angrily, she responds that vampires are not what he thinks, and she wouldn't let him live as a monster, making Yamori think about what he actually wants. After meeting up with Nazuna, he's already a bit confused, and tells her what happened. And to make it so that he doesn't think about it, Nazuna tries to distract him so they can go have fun like they used to. But Yamori is already having a lot of doubts about being a vampire, and Nazuna leaves and walks away from him. After that, Yamori goes to speak with the detective to see if he can learn more, but all he does is make the detective call the police so that they take Yamori to his house. This is because Anko was already investigating him and Nazuna and knows all about his wish to become a vampire, and she won't allow it. So Yamori runs away. Since they distance themselves, Nazuna asks the other vampires to not do anything to him, but they refuse, and they threaten to fight her, but they only try to convince Nazuna to make him fall in love with her and stay with him, telling her that they will give her a hand. After not seeing each other for a long while, Yamori and Nazuna meet again at the same vending machine where they first met. Aw, how romantic. And they both talk about how fun it is to be together, and that they have good times together. Yamori tells her that he loves spending time with her and that they still have a lot of things to do. And out of nowhere, Nazuna kisses him, thus ending the first season. To tell you the truth, I don't know if the second season was confirmed or not, but I hope it is. Personally, I thought that this was a pretty casual anime to watch and very easy on the eyes, with a story that becomes more interesting in the latter episodes. But anyways, for now, we'll have to stay with this or go read the manga. But don't worry, because as soon as the next season drops, I'll make a summary as quickly as possible. If you liked the video, remember to like and subscribe like everyone else does so that you don't miss any of our summaries. Goodbye for now, and see you guys later.